Hello and welcome to your March 2022 forecast readings with me, Intuitive Rene. Always such an honor and privilege to be here for you, and thank you for giving me the space to create this kind of content that keeps you inspired, motivated, and enthusiastic about life. So we are looking at March 2022. I actually can't quite wrap my head around that, but anyway, um, what this video is a series of 12 individual videos that are the same but completely different. Basically, I record a single video for each sign of the zodiac using the same layout or the same spread, the same deck of cards, but obviously the cards that come through, the messages that come through, and the reading that comes through will be completely different for each sign of the zodiac. So there are 12 identical spreads or 12 identical readings, and you get to choose one based on your sun sign. And if you know yourself, your astrology, and you know your rising sign and your moon sign, you're welcome to watch those as well to get other aspects or just another angle on your own life and your own what's coming through for you during the month of March 2022. So these videos, these taroscopes as I call them, they are released the week before the new month. So in the last week of the previous month, you will get them, which is why you're now getting the March readings. And the way that I suggest that you work with this is obviously before the month starts itself, watch the video to get an idea of what's in store for you, what you need to be aware of, what you need to know about, what's coming up for you, so that you can almost plan and be prepared for anything. And then during the month, at least once, I would say about halfway through, but anytime that you find yourself facing a challenge or facing a problem, come back to the video and look at it, watch it again, even if you just pick out certain aspects of it, just to remind you and to help you stay focused on whatever it is that you need to stay focused on. So before I push the record button, I do all the behind the work scenes of connecting to spirit and setting the intentions and all of that other kind of good stuff, and making sure that I set the intentions correctly for each one of you. So it is a collective reading, so it's for everybody who has the same sign of the zodiac, but each one of you will hear something different through the reading, and that's the intention that I set, and that's the way that I work with spirit. We're using the tarot just as a tool, just to help formulate, if I can say, the stuff that needs to come across. And for this month, for the month of March, I am working with two amazing decks. The first one I'm going to work with is if I can get the glare off, is the Enchanted Map Oracle. And the Enchanted Map Oracle is going to give us our theme for the month ahead. And it's the first card that we're going to draw through the reading. And like I said, I do love working with this particular deck. This is such an old deck. I think it's like one of the first that ever joined my collection from the Oracle point of view. And I mean, it is so old and grubby and dirty and fabulous. So I love working with Enchanted Map to give us our theme for the month ahead. And then, getting quite excited, I'm going to work with the Spacious Tarot. So the Spacious Tarot is a normal, typical tarot deck, but from a different perspective. The whole deck, every single card, if I remember correctly, there's no people in the deck, so it's almost like from your eyes. Okay, so it's if you're looking at whatever's in front of you, but from your eyes or from your vantage point, it's the Spacious Tarot. It's the space in front of you. So because we're doing a forward look, because we're looking at the month ahead, I thought working with the Spacious Tarot, and it's such a beautiful deck. The artwork is just exquisite. So quite looking forward to working with Spacious Tarot as well. And of course, they're a beautiful sized deck. It's not overly large and difficult for me to shuffle and to work with. They're a beautiful size, perfect size as far as I'm concerned. So those are the two decks that I'm going to be working with. And as I mentioned earlier on, I am doing quite a detailed spread. I've got 10 cards or 10 card positions. So I'm going to shuffle and lay out 10 cards and read. It is the same format that I used in February. So if you enjoyed the format I used, then we're going to work with the same format for the month of March. And we're going to lay out the 10 cards and just see what comes through for every one of you. This particular intro is a generic intro. So I'm recording this intro once, and I'm just going to add it into every single video that I create hereafter for the March Taroscopes. And I just do it to save myself repetitive talking, and also because when I start recording and I start like with Aries and move all the way through to Pisces, I get in the zone, okay? And because of that, I want to just, when I'm doing those readings, just get straight into it and bring through whatever information that you need. If you enjoy this kind of content and if you enjoy these taroscopes, I am just a small channel here on YouTube. I'm nobody big and fancy and fabulous. So the best way to support and to show appreciation for what I do is to give the video a thumbs up and a comment below. Get all your friends to come and watch. But the more you interact with the video, the more you're letting YouTube know that this is good content and other people need to see it. So YouTube will recommend it to other people, and that's the best way to support me, and also just to show me that that you do enjoy what I do. So thank you so much, and let's get straight into your reading. Right, Capricorn, let's get into your reading. Let's have a look and see what does March 2022 have in store for Capricorn. So Capricorn, I am shuffling the Enchanted Map Oracle. I'm looking for a single card from this deck, which is going to give us our theme for the month ahead for you. Cards are shuffled, and I am going to take that card over there. Right, I have got it. Let's have a look and see what is the theme for March for each one of you. Solitude. I like that. You know, some people see solitude as a negative. I see it as something absolutely wonderful. So we have a bit of a lighthouse-ish kind of situation happening, although the light is separate. The light is not in the lighthouse. The light is separate. We've certainly got water all the way around, so it's like a little island. And I love the reflection that we have here at the bottom, because this reflection is confirming how peaceful, calm, and still the waters are, even though they look a little bit crazy. I mean, here we've got some mist rolling in and things like that. But it's like we're quite happy on our little island. We have everything that we need, and everything is perfect. Or on the other end of the thing, and I'm just noticing card number 13 as well, by the way. The other side of the coin is that maybe we've chosen to exclude ourselves. Maybe we've chosen this life of solitude because we didn't want to participate in whatever else is going on. So it's like, sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. The truth behind solitude for you, we're going to see when we get into the rest of the tarot. So card number 13 from the Enchanted Map Oracle is the card of solitude. We don't know if we need solitude or if we have too much solitude. That we're going to find out shortly, but it's almost very interesting that it's going to be focusing on the self, because that's what I take from solitude. From solitude, I take about focusing on the self and being very much aware of what you're doing, who you're doing it with, who you're doing it for, and your reasons behind doing it as well. Because when you're living a life on your own, whether that's of your own accord or not, you're very much, every decision you make, every action that you carry out is for your own good, for your own requirements, for your own expectations, and not to please another. And, again, sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not good. Right, so Capricorn, I am now shuffling the Spacious Tarot, and I'm going to lay out the 10 cards that we need for today's reading, and then I will start interpreting for you. Right, cards shuffled, cutting the deck. I want it in the middle of that bit there. Okay, 10 of Swords first off. Four of Wands. You know what? I have seen this card so often in this month's taroscopes and all the other zodiacs. Very interesting to see the cards that keep coming up. Okay. Nearly done. Just making sure that everything is lined up and straight, and then I look up at the screen and see that I haven't managed to get it right. And our final card, beautiful. Right, so Capricorn, let's have a look and see what is in store for you. So March 2022 has come about, and I feel like with the Solitude card, I feel like it's snuck up on you, okay? I want to just say, looking at the overall kind of gist of what I see here, it's almost like things have just happened quite quickly and quite... the word that I hear in my head, and I don't understand it, is quite supernatural. And I don't know if that's because of the mist that I saw there or what it is, but I feel like it's not that you haven't been participating, because you have been, but it's almost like you don't know how this all unfolded. How did we get to March? How did I get to wherever this is that you are in the month of March? It's like there's this uncertainty that you're going through. It's like, what actually happened? Okay, I really want to call it a WTF moment. So Capricorn having a little bit of a WTF moment. All right, just looking at the cards that we have, I just want to see if there's anything predominant or if anything is standing out. I have got cups 1, 2, 3 cups, Swords, I've only got the one. Wands, I have only got two. We've already counted the cups. Major arcana, there is only the one. And that's it, and one pentacle. So what I like about what I'm seeing here for the kind of overall is that there isn't too much of any one suit or kind of tarot, because what that immediately tells me is that the month is not about one thing or about one aspect or one part of your life. It's actually about a little bit of everything, which makes sense with the solitude, because you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for all your own actions, thoughts, and behaviors. And because you're focusing on yourself and responsible for yourself, you have to be thinking about everything. You can't just be focusing on one. All right. March starts off and we have 10 of Swords. Now, 10 of Swords is often not a fabulous card. 10 of Swords is often not one that we get excited about, because here we have this tree trunk. What we can't see is if the tree trunk is still connected to the earth or not, okay? But the tree trunk has got all of these swords stabbed into it. There's even one coming on the side here. And obviously they are causing the tree trunk to split. And you know what? I don't know if they have created this or if they're taking advantage of the split. So maybe the tree trunk was already showing some cracks, and people have now used those cracks to store their swords. Regardless, you're full. You're at capacity, okay? Like there's so much being stabbed into you, there's so much being pushed or forced into you that there's no space. And now somebody else is coming along, and it's almost like they're starting to make a new crack across the bottom here. So Capricorn, this is Spirit saying to you, solitude. We need to focus on ourselves. We mustn't worry about what everybody else is doing. We are the trunk. Okay, we need to be strong. We need to be firm. We need to focus on the foundation of who and what we are. Because if we focus here, we're immediately at a loss. It's 10 against 1. Okay, and I do think this is Spirit saying to you that there's a lot on your plate at the moment. There's a lot going on, and you can't actually figure it all out. So maybe what you need to do is a little bit of time out. And that's where solitude comes into it. Because if you remove yourself from the situation, if you remove yourself from that equation, it'll maybe give you the opportunity to start putting things into perspective. But the only way that you're going to put things into perspective is by spending a little bit of time alone with your thoughts, with your emotions, and with your ideals. Trying to fix it from that point of view, I think, is an impossible task. The challenge that we have, okay, Capricorn, the challenge that you have right now is the fact that all you want is for everybody to be happy and settled and fabulous, okay? Four of Wands is the card of celebration, of commitment, of, coming together as a unit, if I can put it that way. But it is the card of foundation and solidarity and all of those kind of things. So this is the challenge that we have, is that you just want everybody to get on. You just want everybody to work together and to be happy, and you just want happiness all around. And because of that, there's people taking advantage of you. Because you are just so focused on pleasing everybody else, they're taking advantage of you and storing their swords in your trunk. I know that sounds terrible. But the solitude is saying that maybe it's time to remove yourself from the equation, remove yourself from the situation, so that you can build yourself up again, get stronger and better, so that you can stand up and say, no, stop sticking your swords in me, stop stabbing me, stop hurting me, go away and leave me alone. But the thing is as well, the swords are temporary. I am going to say that to you. The swords are temporary. The swords have been put there just while the owner of the swords is, I don't know, having a beer or whatever the owners of swords do. So it is a temporary situation. But at the same time, because it's temporary, we need to take the time out to focus on ourselves so that we're not influenced, affected, or held back by that particular situation. And I know, and this is interesting, Capricorn, because I know you feel quite proud of yourself at the fact that you're offering a service, that you are, somebody has to be the tree trunk, somebody has to be the sword holder, okay? And I know that there's times in your life where you feel like it's your duty, it's your function, that because you just want to make everybody happy, you just want to have everybody to get on, that sometimes you're okay for people to use you as that person. But again, I'm going to say to you, this is Spirit saying no. The Nine of Cups here in this position in the spread here, is what's lying beneath the surface. What is underneath this whole scenario? And this is Spirit saying to you, pride. Okay, and you are very proud. You are very proud of what you've achieved, what you've accomplished, who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, etc. And you have done so much. You have achieved and accomplished so much. But the thing is, the truth of the matter is, Capricorn, is that people are taking advantage of you. You know what? There's just no other way I can say that. People are taking advantage of you, and you're allowing them because you're a nice person, because you care. So it's time to make your world a little bit smaller, bring your island in a little bit, make your world a little bit smaller, and stop letting people take advantage of your hard work, of everything that you've put into it and everything that you are. Now, how did we get ourselves into this situation, you may ask? And here we have the Wheel of Fortune. And Spirit is saying that you've allowed yourself, because here we have the spiral, and the spiral just goes and goes and goes all the way to that final point. And even then, it continues and it continues and it continues forever. So Spirit is saying karma means that this is just how things have unfolded. This is just the way the cookie has crumbled. And again, it is just your nature to be that person. So Spirit is saying to you, that we don't want to spend too much time beating ourselves up over how we got to this place where people are taking advantage of us. The fact of the matter is, it is where we are. Let's deal with where we are now and not worry about what happened way back when. It's interesting with the Wheel of Fortune as well, because it is also known as the karma card. So if there is anybody taking advantage of you without your permission, or taking advantage of you with a negative sense, bullying you maybe even, or just being mean, okay, downright mean, this is Spirit saying to you, as soon as you withdraw, as soon as you pull yourself towards yourself, if I can use that phrase, karma will take care of them. Karma will take care of whoever has caused you any kind of suffering, whether they intended it or not. But it doesn't mean that you need to allow it to happen any longer. And I know you're so proud, and I know you're so happy to be of service. But you know what? There's being of service, and then there's being of service. And we don't want to be that being of service any longer. So Capricorn, one of the other questions that I always like to ask Spirit is, it's all good and well to give us this information, but what are you doing about it, Spirit? How are you helping? What are you contributing to the situation? So this is the position. This position here is the support that's available to you. And what we've got here is the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles talks about abundance, talks about plentiful, okay? Look at this tree that we have. This tree is standing tall, big, strong, solid, all those kind of things, very unmoving. And it takes a lot of force to bring a tree down. Interesting that we started off there with a broken tree, okay? A tree that's been cut by man. just an observation, But Spirit is saying to you, even though you've been chopped down, even though you've been brought down to size, if I can use those words, you've got to understand the potential that's available to you, because Ten of Pentacles is the card of potential. It is the card of abundance. It is the card of plentiful. And you can see that every time you've been cut, every time a branch has been trimmed off, it becomes something unique and special, and you can develop so much more from that point. So just because you've been stabbed and pierced and prodded so many times, Spirit is saying to you, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. It's going to be okay. It's going to work out in the way that it needs to. But you do have to start being solitude, and you do have to start focusing on your own needs, wants, and desires. And you need to stop letting people push you around like that. Very, very interesting indeed. Good. Capricorn, where is this taking you? Where are we going with all of this? And here we have the Guardian of Cups. Guardian of Cups in traditional tarot would be the Queen. And the Queen of Cups would be our koi fish that we have over here. And the koi fish is very, very much taking care of this lotus flower. Now, this lotus flower seems to be in a bubble of some kind. And I don't know how the bubble got there. I don't know who created the bubble. That much we're not all familiar with. But what's happening here is the koi fish is protecting the bubble. The koi fish recognizes the beauty of this plant, this flower, okay, of the lotus flower. The koi fish recognizes the delicacy and the beauty of it and is doing everything in its power to protect it and to keep it safe, because that's what needs to happen. And this is Spirit saying to you, Capricorn, that when you find your courage and your confidence to stand up for yourself and to say, hey, no more, time out, okay? I'm now fighting for my own rights and I'm now fighting for my own good. When you start doing that, you're going to see how so many other people are going to do the same for you. But when you don't, what's the word, respect yourself, when you allow people to take advantage of you, everybody around you, thinks that's what you want and that's what you like, and therefore they encourage and help. But as soon as you start protecting yourself, as soon as you start focusing on your own needs, wants, and desires, suddenly other people will come forward and do that for you as well. So as soon as you stand up for yourself, you will have the support that you need to help you be better in all that you need. And it's interesting as well, Capricorn, because what we've got over here with this Eight of Wands is the card of movement, okay? And you can see we have all these sticks, all these wands that are floating through the air. We don't know which way they're going, whether they're going left or right. I always seem to see them as if they're moving that way, because they seem to have these trails. So to me, they're flying in that direction, but we don't know. What we do know, though, is whoever shot them off, whoever sent them off on their journey, based on wind, based on, the force of the shot, all of those kind of things, their destination is predetermined. We don't know where they're going to land. Only once they've landed will we know where they're going to land. And this is Spirit saying to you that people see you as somebody who just goes with the flow. People see you as somebody who doesn't really think about end goal, end destination. People see you as somebody who just, oh, well, let's see what happens, okay? So you're seen as a let's see what happens kind of person. And again, that's why people are taking advantage of you. And Spirit is saying March is the month where you need to focus on you. Focus on building yourself up. And suddenly I'm noticing in this particular card, I'm noticing the ladder. And the ladder looks a little bit broken. It looks a little bit sad. Actually, the whole place looks a little bit like it needs a bit of TLC. And I think this is, again, Spirit saying, if you don't stop taking care of everybody else and start taking care of you, you are just going to continue to crumble. I think that's actually very interesting, Capricorn, that I've just suddenly noticed that. All right. What we have here, so everybody sees you as somebody who just goes with the flow and somebody who just takes whatever it is that's happening in the moment. And Spirit is saying, but actually who you need to be is somebody who's a little bit more curious, a little bit more enthusiastic, a little bit more like, why? What does this taste like? Let me eat this big piece of money and see what it tastes like, see what it feels like. Let me figure it out for myself. So it's interesting how, these two are quite different. This is just going with the flow, like, just saying, oh, it's fine, we'll just see what happens. Whereas here, you're like, oh, curiosity, let me explore, let me figure this out for myself. But it's also about starting to understand the importance of value, because that's what I get with this Child of Pentacles, which would be the Page of Pentacles in traditional tarot. To me, this is like, exploring and understanding your rights, your, what's good for you, what's not good for you, what you should have, what you can have. And almost by saying, understanding the value of you versus the value of everybody else. Your value is amazing. The fact that you are this huge, big wooden trunk means that you could be, you could be made into a piece of furniture. You could be a chair. You could be a tree. Your value is substantial. Those swords have absolutely no value. Absolutely no value. But you, because you're a nice person and because you're always trying to be of service, you've turned that around and you're now saying that the swords are more important than you are. And now this is Spirit saying it's time to learn that that's not the case. What we're most afraid of, though, Capricorn, and here we have the Three of Pentacles. This is what we are most afraid of. Three of Pentacles is, we're so focused on being perfect above ground, but we're afraid of what's the mess, if I can call it that, that's happening beneath the surface. So here's our surface line, all right? So above ground, and I just want to do this, tree, 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 okay? Tree, 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 right? Above ground, everything is looking fabulous. Everything is looking solid and strong and capable. But below ground, actually, everything's a bit of a mess. Everything's a little bit chaotic. And Capricorn, you're afraid of that. You're afraid of the mess. You're afraid of the chaos. But the truth of the matter is, it's this chaos that keeps you rooted, keeps you strong, keeps you capable. As people can do what they like to you above surface, but as long as they're not interfering in your root system, you'll survive anything. You will survive anything as long as they don't interfere in your root system. So your fears are that they're going to see your vulnerability. So you would rather let them stab you up there than actually recognize your weak spots. And our weak spots, vulnerable spots. Let's change it to vulnerable spots. And again, Spirit is saying to you that, yes, we understand that this is your fear. We understand that you're nervous about that, but you're allowing yourself to be worried about the wrong stuff. What you need to be worried about is getting those swords removed from your stump in the first place. Okay. Last card, Capricorn. And this, to me, it just sums everything up so beautifully. So just actually put it back for a second. Let's just do a very quick recap, because I think it'll then help us to understand this card a little bit better. So March 2022, Capricorn, Spirit is saying it's time to be very selfish. It's time to be very focused on who you are, what you are, on nurturing the self, taking care of the self, putting everything together that you need to be together without too much concern or worry about how it's going to impact on anybody else's life. We understand that you're a kind person. We understand that you just want everybody to be happy, just want everybody to, have the best life. And even if it means that they take advantage of you, but Spirit is saying, you know what, this whole situation has been going on for too long. And you've allowed it for too long. And now it's time to take our power back. Spirit are going to support you and help you, because they see your strength. They see how strong you truly are above ground, and all that you are can be. And Spirit is saying it doesn't matter how many times you've been injured. It doesn't matter how many times people have cut you off or cut parts of you away. Those parts of you still remain beautiful, still remain strong. And you need to recognize the protection that's available. As soon as you start changing your outlook, as soon as you start changing your belief system in yourself, as soon as you start taking better care of yourself, everybody's going to step forward to take care of you as well. So don't be a let's see how it goes kind of person. You need to start taking control and not being so afraid of exposing your vulnerabilities. And if we can do this during the month of March, Spirit is saying the clarity that you're going to get in life in general is going to be amazing. So if you look inside this cup, so you can see the cup runneth over. There is water flowing, there's emotion flowing, there's love flowing, there's feelings flowing. But somehow the water that is contained in this cup is suddenly almost like giving us a better view, because the clarity and the detail that we're picking up inside the cup is just amazing. I also want you to note how empty the sky is. There's no clouds, there's nothing. There is nothing in the way. And it's almost like we're standing on top of this mountain. Okay, here's our island again, because here we've got water around the bottom. We've got our island again, and we are strong. Being isolated or being in solitude or focusing on yourself is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, and it's the way that you see the truth. It's the way that you will see all that is there. But if you're so busy focusing on everybody else, you're going to miss the beauty of what is right here with you. So Capricorn, Spirit is saying all is good in your world as long as you are able to stand up for yourself, as long as you're able to recognize that self-care is the most important thing. And by self-care, we mean saying no to anybody who's trying to take advantage of you. All right. So that's what March 2022 is all about. Capricorn, I hope this reading helps you. I hope it helps you to do whatever it is you need to do in whatever way you need to do it, so that you can come out of this better, stronger, happier, healthier, and just be that guardian of cups. Be loved, be protected, be nurtured always. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care, Capricorn.